What's up, everyone? It's the God, Young Montu-Ra, and welcome to Montu-Ra, the podcast, where I talk about the good, the bad, and the downright dirty of music, business, and spirituality. What's up, my guys and goddesses? And we are back again, episode 22. It's only right we do this on September 22nd. Fall equinox. You know what time it is. 2023, the year of the biggest transformation of our generation. I'm going to say that till I'm blue in the face. Well, till I'm red in the face, actually. But we are harnessing this superpower of this fall equinox. I believe, personally, it's time to harvest. We're going to do a separate episode with the harvest full moon coming in about 6 days or so. But as I record this, like I said, we all are going through this rebirth, this transition. This whole energy wave has been crazy, just for pretty much everyone, as we can see in our own outside world. But this is the fall equinox episode, and we are heading into the fourth quarter of this final leg of this rebirth. And I think this is it here. I really do. And not just in my own personal life, but all of our lives. We're going to see when 2024, when Aries season comes back around in March, we're going to see this full 180 that we're all doing with our life. But the time-wise, before we get started, we're going to have the fall equinox probably peaking, or, it's going to be around 11:50 p.m. PST. If you're on the West Coast in America, 2:50 a.m. Eastern in the U.S., and 7:50 a.m. UK, and 8:50 a.m. on the 23rd CEST time. So we know we have these equinoxes, and happens twice a year. Basically, just a brief summary. Fall and springtime. The Earth's axis is tilted neither toward away from the sun. So basically, it's about balance, right? The northern, southern hemispheres, equal amounts of daylight and darkness at all latitudes. So I believe this is about trying to find that balance in our life. It's been chaotic for a lot of us heading into the end of the year. I've been talking a lot about the winter solstice. In astrology, I like to look at a span of 6 months to 12 months. And I do believe this is that time period where we start to, in a sense, have that new beginning. I know we talk a lot about the new moons as new beginnings, and the full moons about us letting go and releasing things that don't serve us. But we're talking about this equinox, this blank slate. We're going to have the time now where we can start to project our own vision for the next 3 months. It's getting cooler in some areas. It's getting darker. This is leading up to that end of the year, which is like an auspicious time for us to do that. Kind of take a bit more time. We might be indoors a bit more. So we're going to have a lot more time to start to prepare, but also start to harvest all the work that we've been putting in this past year, or maybe even the past 3 months, or 9 months basically. But like I said, the peak time is going to be at about 11:50 p.m. PST, 2:50 a.m. on September 23rd Eastern, 7:50 a.m. UK, and 8:50 a.m. CST time. So I want people to understand the timing of everything is always so important when we're talking about doing our rituals. Maybe you want to light an incense, maybe you want to meditate. I like to always know the timing when we talk about these different astrological events that happen. That obviously we're talking about energy, but this is a great time for us to reap the fruits of our labor. We're going to be gaining more clarity, and I like to look at the time, just kind of the weather. Looking at leaves are falling now. It's time to harvest. It's time to pick our fruit. It's time to let go of things that aren't serving us, these unhealthy habits that that I have, maybe these different problems that I'm creating, or these different bonds that we have. Things are going to start falling apart that don't no longer serve us. But also, and I was reading actually, I was watching a YouTube video, and it was about when things fall apart, they're actually falling together, and that kind of spoke to me a lot. And it's crazy how we go through these different transitions and these different periods in our life when things just seem so chaotic. But in reality, the Most High is putting everything together. Obviously, that's easier for me to say that shit than actually to live it. Let's be honest. But you know where we're at. But astrologically speaking, this is that transition. We're gonna start. We're transitioning just in the cosmos of Virgo season, which is more about health consciousness, putting things in order, urging us to. It was the energy was urging us to kind of put our head down and focus on the details of our life, bringing more service to others and ourselves. Now we're seeking the harmony heading into Libra season. Shout out to all my Libras out there. This is gonna like amplify our appetite, I believe, of socializing and the desire to avoid conflict and bring more beauty and balance in our day-to-day life. And I love Virgo and Libra is because we have two signs that are ruled by Mercury and Venus. Virgo, Mercury, and Libra, Venus. So this is something that we're going to still apply to our day-to-day life, but now we're looking for the beauty. Now we're trying to find things to be grateful for. Even in my own personal life, having a hard time to be grateful with things, but at the same time, it's like that's just crazy for me to even say, right? But I do think we're going to start seeing the beauty coming back into our life as well. But this makes sense, right? This is autumn, generally leads to us craving more time with our loved ones, stepping up to, appeal to certain spaces, feeling inspired to start planning more get togethers and maybe celebrations as we move into the rest of the year. But while the sun's movement into Libra, this transition is to help us to find that balance and that peace in our day to day life. I believe that Virgo energy was about trying to focus on what we want to achieve, the details of our life, maybe mostly in our work, like I was talking about before, our service to others. Now it's finding that peace and that balance and that beauty. Kind of with our feelings, getting our feelings in order, uh, desiring what we're actually passionate about. Relationships is going to be very meaningful, as well as different partnerships that we have. So we're talking balance, we're talking more energy, we're talking focus, we're talking finding that inner calmness in our life as we head into Libra season, as well as this fall equinox is upon us, because the things we craved in this fast-paced world are sometimes not consistent, right? The things that we desire, even just for me personally, is like the things that I desire just run away. It's like having a cat. Uh, shout out to Kitty though. Shout out to D. We love you. But it's like having a cat though. Anytime you chase a cat or tell the cat to come here, or whatever, it goes away. Anytime you're just chilling and vibing, somehow the cat is attracted, and that is how I feel. Life is, and that is something that I'm starting to learn. Just trying to be more peaceful and more calm. But I get so agitated that I'm just so ready right now. But I know a lot of us can understand that because we're going through this transformation, this transition, heading into waters or being in waters that we have never been in. And that is something that can kind of make us start to act like we're drowning in a sense. You know what I'm saying? If we get in the water and think we're drowning, we're actually making it worse instead of just finding that inner peace, that inner calm. But even when we consistently like meditate or do our yoga practice or take care of ourselves amidst the demands of our daily life, I do think things still become a bit more challenging as well. And I had some time to I've been reading the 48 Laws of Power for the past probably month or 2 months, and it talks a lot about different rulers and different spiritual people and businesses. And it was something that I just kind of tapped into with these different like ancient like sages, you know, being able to understand the times when they were on different levels and facing a lot of adversity, those internal operating systems that maybe we're not prepared for, or we can't see. Um, but thinking about like the information of how we process a number of things in our day-to-day life, like compared to what people did, you know, 400 years ago or even 20 years ago, the increase of the speed of everything is rising so fast that I believe this is a time for us to really slow down. We're heading into this Libra season. We have this air energy upon us. Mercury retrograde, we're finally getting out of that soon. We still have um, we still have a few degrees to go to get Mercury back where it was. We still have the shadow phase. But I do think this is a time for us to um, start to really tap in and try to slow things down as we head into the winter solstice. I've been talking a lot about the winter solstice, is because that is when I believe we're all going to be finding these answers. But this is like that fourth quarter. This fall equinox is for us to, you know, tap into slowing things down, tapping into to us feeling that balance when we're feeling out of sort, not being in sync. And one of the main reasons we feel so out of balance is because of not in sync with the natural rhythms of the earth, like to be in harmony physically, spiritually, mentally, all of that. We must be in harmony with both the natural, the physical, and the spiritual world. And that's easy for me to say, but obviously it's hard for us to implement sometimes when our outside world is a bit chaotic. But it's like when I started my previous business and trying to climb the ladder of success and climb the ladder of getting more clients and things like that, it was like, trying to live my passion of music and understanding my own, numerology, my own God self and all that type of jazz. I realized that the pace at which I was operating wasn't going to be sustainable. I knew I had to make a decision. I knew I had to make a change. And I do believe my transformation started last year, but I'm starting to see um, different aspects of myself heading into this fall equinox. But I know I had to do things a different way, and I know a lot of us can understand that when we ask the Most High, like, "What the hell am I doing? Like, what is the issue? What do I need to do?" And I believe it's just about trying to help us to tap into our spirituality. Like we talked about earlier about the cat, wanting the cat to come here, but it's not. It's like, no, it's not gonna come because we aren't balanced, and that is something that I think we can all kind of relate to as well. But you know, being being tuned in, I always say tapped in, but being tuned in, why does that make sense with being tapped in and being trying to harmonize our music with with the Most High? It's like we're like physical matter on Earth. It's like tuning in, not being tuned in with the Earth. We're more tuned in to the internet, to my social media that I'm gonna blast out, to um, whatever's going on the TV. But we're not looking at, some of us are, but maybe we're not looking at like the steadiness of the trees. I've been seeing a lot of butterflies and just appreciating their beauty. Not that it's like, oh, what is it gonna do for me type energy, but it's like just appreciating this beautiful butterfly or the trees. Uh, that are around us that maybe we don't at times. I think a lot of us are going to start tapping in more on that as we continue to head, uh, counting down the days of this year and this energy wave. So, um, but I say all that is because we're trying to tap into our mind, body, and soul, like the natural cycles of Earth. We have to harmonize pretty much automatically because the seasons are changing, and with this being the fourth quarter with us, this is the last leg to a degree um, before we get into the winter solstice. It's like we have to automatically somehow change and be in harmony with our work, with our health, with our wealth, with our relationships. And sometimes I do believe that it helps us to be more sustainable and more supportive and more successful as well. But I found that all three of these like traditions that we've been talking about, like had a common practice and philosophy, which always makes me think there is a superpower here. There is a Most High here. Uh, I don't know if I've actually been tapped in spiritually. I think that's why I stopped doing my live streaming with my astrology talk on Bigo, is because I felt like I was contradicting who I am as who I'm actually being. And, I'm a walking contradiction. But at the same time, it was like me saying, hey, believe in this, and the Most High is going to take care of you. And then I'm showing lack of faith. You understand what I'm saying? But at the same time, I know there is a superpower. So it's like all those rituals that the sages do and practice, and all of the people that we look up to spiritually, those are all really centered around 4 specific times of the year. And I do think, as we talked about, the spring equinox, the summer solstice, now we're at the fall equinox, and then we're going to talk about the winter solstice in a couple of months. It's like these are the times of the year that mark a shift in the Earth's energy, and it has its own rhythm. And this really taps into me perfectly, or personally and perfectly for all of us. Is like we have to find a way to tap into the rhythm of the Most High, the rhythm of the Earth, the Mother Goddess energy. And I do believe if we can just break those down real quick, it's like the winter solstice is like the natural world. It just slows down. It just does. Can't be in a hurry during that time. The spring equinox is always going to be new things are born. You know, roses and things are blossoming. Summer solstice, increase intensity, increase creativity. Energy is going to be super geeked up for us. Now it's time for us, I believe, to reap all that we've been putting our life forth, our life force towards these past 9 months. I believe it's time, when there is an equal amount of light and dark present in a day, it's always going to be about balance. And that is something that I want to kind of reiterate as we wrap this episode up. But I do believe it's a powerful time for us to rebalance, restore, and refocus our energy. Also, because the harvest is not over yet, I believe it's time for us to pause and look forward and to see where the best flow for our life force to take advantage of during the next, or basically during the last 3 months of this cycle here. So I appreciate everybody again for tapping in. Happy fall equinox for everybody on today. This is the fourth quarter. We are heading into, we are going to be finalizing the biggest transformation of our generation, and it is in 2023. Like I said, we're going to go over the times one more time. I believe the peak is going to be about 11:50 p.m. PST time in the US, 2:50 a.m. Eastern time, and 7:50 a.m. UK on the 23rd, and 8:50 a.m. CEST time. Much love to everybody out there. I appreciate everybody for tapping in. It's the guy, Young Montu-Ra. Also, and shout out to everybody that has been telling me to keep going, motivating me. I appreciate that. Much love to everybody. It's the guy, Young Montu-Ra, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.